Okay, so we are doing the last exercise of Photoshop. The goal is to try and use Photoshop to create some type of a cyborg, a man machine. So let's have a look at this, and maybe I should put this over the motherboard. We'll see how we go. So I'm going to start with this, and I'll show you what the process is. The first thing I do is um, I use the pen tool to make an area. So and that's why I digressed from here. We went to Illustrator to master the pen tool primarily. So see how I'm making this. Click, 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 a click and drag to get a smooth line, a click and drag to get a smooth line, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, and finally maybe click and drag here as well. Just so I've got that path, see, just with a pen tool. You must understand that every time you click, you get a point. When you click and drag, you get an extension. It takes a few tries, but that's a point, that's a drag, that's a drag, that's a drag, that's a drag, okay? So it just takes a bit of practice to understand the pen tool. Now this path is sitting here. You see this? This is a path. I can go to my paths menu, and under this option I can say make selection 0 and anti-aliased, and that's a selection. So now I have a selection. I don't need this layer basically. I don't need this one. So that's my layer and I got a selection. If I press Ctrl C, I copy it, Ctrl V, I paste it. It pastes in the same place. See that? I got this. Okay. Now let me make it a bit different. Image, adjustment, hue saturation. So I used the pen tool, made a selection, copied and pasted it. Okay. I made it a bit darker using hue saturation. Now if I press Apple and click on this, okay, I get that selection again. If I use the marquee tool and I'm using my arrow tools to move it, see my arrow? I'm just moving it. Can you see this region here, this region? I want a bit of thickness, maybe this. You see this, you see this? This is what I want. But right now, this is what I've selected, right? If I say select inverse, now the outside has got selected. With the move tool, if I nudge it, nudge means using the arrow keys up and down. See that? I got that? I'm going to copy this and paste it again. So I get a bit of that. That is what will give me that thickness. Okay, so I got my thickness. I'll call it thickness. I'm going to call this, I'm just going to call this one, shut up, mask. Okay, now I want this to look like a cyborg. So what am I going to do? I just need some kind of a motherboard. I'm just going to try and go to Google. I can use printed circuit board. So PCBs they are called. If I go to images, I should get a few. And you can do this. Now you people probably learn copyright. You can go to search tools and say usage rights. I want those which are labeled for reuse, which I can reuse. Okay, and for educational it's okay. So you can see a lot of images labeled for reuse. Just take anything that looks pretty decent. We will have to turn it anyway. So printed circuit board. I'll take one of these. Yeah, this one with chips maybe. Yep, okay. Okay, so I'm just going to take this one. It's labeled for reuse. Copy it. I'm pasting it over the mask. Control T and press shift and move it to scale it down. So I've got this printed circuit board. I will rotate it a bit, and I've got this here. There's another thing I can do. I can use the warp tool, edit, transform, and the warp tool to move the board so that it looks bent. Okay, I just bent it a bit. Maybe even scale it down a bit more. Now I'm going to put this board inside this piece here, this piece. So I can right click. If the mask is below and the piece is on top, I can right click and say create clipping mask, and it's gone inside. And this piece gives the thickness. Okay, I can go to this piece and say image adjustment, hue saturation, make it a bit more dark. Okay, bit more dark. And this one here, you see the board? I can go one more layer up and just give it a bit of oops. It must be a mask, so I'll just press Alt or right click and mask. So that should come inside. Can you see the darkness? See, just to give the depth. See, that's just an airbrush. So I've masked the circuit board, I've masked the airbrush, and I can make it a bit transparent. See, just give it a bit more darkness. Yeah? Peace. I'll do this again. I'll do the whole thing again. Now suppose I want a bit of the spine to be seen as well. So you just need to do 3 or 4 parts as much as you're happy with. So I'll do the spine differently. You can see here I did it here. I'll try and do it differently. So let me get the spine. It was called lamb spine. I had searched just a lamb spine image earlier, and I just wanted some kind of a metallic part, some that I can. Or did I search for spine lamp? I don't know. Yeah, that was the one. Now, this one here, I want the spine to go the other way, right? So, edit, transform, flip horizontal. Again, I can even warp it. Edit, transform. I'm just going to warp this. So, I get the bend of a spine. So I got a spine. I will put this inside as well. So my spine is actually here. See that? But my spine is now covering, you see it's covering the motherboard. Because I'm lucky here, because it is black, or I can just use magic wand, take all the black and delete the black. See that? Now my spine is seen here. But if it is black, you can do another thing. Yes, you can screen it, and the screen will take away the dark color. It even makes that a bit transparent. That's okay. For a cyborg, that's better. It looks like I've got a pretty crystal part which is hard enough to work as a spine. Great. I did not expect it. I call that defect turned effect. So when something like this unexpected happens, I tell the client, do you know how much time I spent to get that? Actually, so I call it defect turned effect. Very good. So I've got my spine there. Now I would like to make another part, and this is also a revision. So suppose I want a bit of the spine to be exposed here too. I take this part, copy, paste, image, adjustment, hue, saturation, reduce the lightness of it, press Ctrl and click on this window, you get the selection, go to selection, move it a bit, move it a bit, select inverse and then nudge it using the move tool, nudge it, up arrow, down arrow, see that? Copy, paste. So I've got this extra bit here on top and I've got this bit here. Now I want the motherboard to be inside this one too. I could merge this one with the mask, I could take this and merge it with the mask, or I can make another copy of a motherboard, or I'll just make another copy of the spine, put the spine on top of this piece here. I'll call this piece the bottom mask. A copy of the lamp has been put just on top of bottom mask. I'll move this spine somewhere here, see that? I'll also try to rotate it. I'll try to scale it down. Okay, and if I press Alt and I click here, it's the same thing as right click, create clipping mask. So I've got my mask now sitting inside bottom mask, and I need a motherboard as well behind it, so I'm just going to take a copy of the motherboard as well, bring the motherboard down here so I can see the motherboard. It's too bright. I need this fellow to go back inside the darkness. On top of this one, I will go back and just put a bit of airbrush. You can see that. Just put a bit more of darkness. And this one has to go back inside. It's a mask. So you can see there. It could have been done in one piece. I could have done it in one piece. But I just wanted to revisit the whole process. I'm making an area, I'm putting something inside, and I'm making that tiny piece. This tiny piece, you can see this piece. Yeah, this piece here. Okay, this is the piece here. So you have these two pieces here. The pen tool, you can see what I did was I went ahead and made some more pieces here. Okay, for this I used the pen tool. You see this mask here. If I just duplicate, let me make the mask and then I will duplicate. Okay, here I will use the pen tool and I'll start defining an area here. Straight, 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 straight. So I'm just defining an area, and you can see why the pen tool is important if you want to do some things pretty tricky and clever like this. And don't get close to another point, otherwise it's sort of. So I've made a mask here. Path. Come to this point and say make selection. See, I got the selection there. Same thing again. Copy and paste it. Go away. Copy and paste. Could not come on because the selected area is empty. Why is it empty? Oh, I'm here. So I need to come to the Scarlet, copy, paste. So I've got another mask here. I can merge these two layers. You see this layer and this layer. Let me change the color so you can see it. Image adjustment, hue saturation. You see this piece and this piece. I'm just going to merge these two pieces. You select both, right click, merge layers. Okay, and then I have this motherboard. I need it to be bigger. I need this motherboard to be a bit bigger. Cover the face also. If I press Alt and click here, the same as right click clipping mask. See, the motherboard has gone inside. This is the brush. Alt and click inside. Now in this layer, I need to airbrush some more dark areas. I need to kind of make this black as well. Okay, and then this one. This is the spine. Alt and click here, so it's gone inside. So I can keep adding bits and pieces. So see, this is just one mask. In fact, I could make all three as one mask and put motherboard and everything I want inside. I just wanted to repeat the process. So you choose the areas that you want to hide. You put the masks, clipping mask, right click clipping mask. You can put whatever you want, steel, metal parts, steel mesh. You want a steel mesh underneath. For example, steel mesh, I don't know, steel mesh. Okay, I'll take something like this. Suppose you want a steel mesh underneath as well. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to try and put a steel mesh in the face, and see that? In fact, I'll make it very small. I've got a small steel mesh and I can just press Alt and I can keep duplicating it. See that? I'm just duplicating the steel mesh. So I've got a steel mesh. All of these are steel meshes. From here to here, all the layer 9 copies, steel mesh. Right click, merge. So all of this is steel mesh. I can use maybe multiply or maybe screen, and I can change the opacity of it. You see that? And I can put the mesh here if I want. I can put the mesh here. See that? The steel mesh here. I can put it as darken. I can put it as color burn, luminosity, and there. That's a grid. So you can put whatever you want to make it look metallic. I'm not happy with the steel mesh. But you make a mask, make a bit of this thickness, this extra bit piece here. Call me over, I'll give you a hand. You can go endlessly. Now, for example, here I've got my path. Do I still have my path? Yeah, I still have my path. I can come here, make another new layer, and I can say, I'm going to take this color here, okay? You'll see in a minute what I'm trying to do. I'll just take this color here, skin color, edit, stroke, 2 pixels inside. So I'm just going to, I've stroked my path, edit, stroke path. Let's see whether it did something. Yeah, it didn't do anything. Edit, stroke, is it here? Path, stroke path, okay, stroke path. Brush, okay, stroke it with a pencil. Oh, let me go to brush. Let me make a 2 pixel brush. 2 pixel brush. Stroke path with a brush. So I've got a. You can see the line here now. You can see that that's a stroked. See that? The path has been stroked. All of the path has been just. It's got a nice stroke here. It gives a side kind of a bevel. And if I make a mask, which is my favorite tool, I can go back to some of my default brushes and just fade this one off. So I get this highlight on the face, and all the paths basically have got this. So if I don't want all of that, I can quite easily erase all of those things. I should have removed the stroke here, so I'll go back a few steps. So I'll make a new layer, path, come here, stroke path, brush. It picks up the settings of the brush. So I won't bother with it. That's it, finished. But you get the idea generally. So I was trying to get a highlight on the nose. So you can keep on inserting parts. You can replace the eye with a lens. For example, I go for a camera lens. I can try and so I'm just trying to see the direction. It's pretty frontal. Something which is frontal. You can take a photograph, take a camera, take a photograph of a lens which is looking at you, and you should be able to get some kind of a frontal lens. Let me see if I can find something. Frontal. Okay, I'm just going to try this one. Okay, I'm going to try and sort of do something with this. So let's say I was trying to, I just go to path and hide my path for a minute, come back here. So let's say I've got this here, this bit here, and I'm going to save it. I will take this much portion of it. Select inverse, takes the outside, delete it, I don't want it. Control D, deselect. Now there, that's my lens, okay? So I'm going to leave this somewhere here. Now from the body, I will take probably, I will take a half a circle, with half a circle from here, copy paste. So you can see I've got that circle here. I'm going to put it underneath the lens. Now the lens, I'm going to insert this, right click, create clipping mask. So the lens has actually gone inside what I have copied, and I can then play with it and try and put a lens somewhere here. I can move the mask, I can move both of these to try and come over here or to try and come over here. Yeah, so you can try different things. I'm not entirely convinced about with this lens. It didn't work that well. So probably a different mask. I will redo that. So that didn't work too well. I'm going to delete this one and try and make another mask. Come here and try and make another mask using the pen tool. So click, click gives me a straight line, click and drag gives me a curve here, come down, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, come to path, make a selection, come to this layer, copy and paste. So I've got a bit of the eye here, and you can see it is here, this eye. And this top thing, the lens, I'm going to put it inside my eye. And yeah, that's my lens inside my eye. I'm going to scale it up a bit. No, it's not working. Sorry. Okay, I'll end it here. But you can play. Put steel. Put something else that works. Put something in the head, gears. I don't know. Uh, you could probably take a piece of the cheeks. You can take a piece of the cheeks, path, make selection. So I'm just going to take a bit of the cheeks, copy and paste it. So I've got a bit of the cheeks, image adjustment, hue saturation, got a bit of the cheeks here, control and click on it. And I think the thickness is the key. I didn't do it for the eye. Click on it, use selection, move it somewhere here, select inverse, and then if you just nudge it with the arrow key, just left and right, it selects that, copy and paste it, so you get you just get that piece by itself. Now here I'm going to put some gears in the mouth, just as jaws. I don't know, gear, jaws, some kind of things that symbolize chewing or something. I don't know. No, I just want gears. Gears. Yeah, I'll take something like this. Yep. Sorry? Yeah? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of, but I'm just going to cheat. I'm just going to put something there for now. So I have this. See, this is a piece inside which I want the gear. So on top of that piece, I paste my gears. On top of that piece, I will just invert it, Control I to make it black. Okay? And right click, create clipping mask. So there. So my gears are inside. Just scale it a bit so you can see the gears. Okay? So I'm going to save, stop there. I'm going to upload this file and